Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I feel like I want to sing it. Happy Wednesday. I don't know what just came over me. Okay, I am going to find this on my computer, make sure I'm on mute. And of course, I forgot my AirPods. I'm not even going to try that today. And then I just want to make sure I can see comments. Facebook has gone and changed something on me. And last time it took me a while before I could see the comments. Okay, I see you, Sonia. Hi, Sonia. Oh, hello, everyone. It's nice to see some familiar names and new names popping up. Thank you for sharing, Sonia. I appreciate you so much. So it's Wednesday, and that means I am doing a Facebook Live crafting show. If you're watching live, I love to hear from you. I love for us to chit chat. It feels like we're hanging out and stamping together. And of course, if you're watching the replay, please comment below and let me know that you're watching the replay. And if this is your first time watching, tell us that in the comments as well so we can welcome you. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Natalie. Hello, Tanya. Hi, Carol. Hello, everybody. Oh, it's good to see you all. Hello, Margaret Ann. Thanks for being here with me today. Let me tell you what we're doing, and then, you know, I like to chit chat a little bit. I'm sorry I'm talking loud. I forgot to put on my AirPods, and when I watch back the videos where I haven't worn my AirPods, I feel like I sound quiet. That could just be my hearing going. And so if you guys find me too loud, just tell me and I'll lower the volume a little bit. Hello, Janice. Okay, so I am going to be playing with the Sweet Symmetry Suite. Oh, try and say that 5 times fast. If you're looking along in the catalog, it's on pages 112 and 113. And so I'm going to be making 2 projects featuring 2 of my favorite tools that I cannot live without. And many of you probably already have these tools at home, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I can't live without them and show you some different things that you can do with them, okay? So hello, Norma Jean. Okay, I'm fine, no problem. My family tells me I'm super loud during my Facebook Lives, but they're upstairs and I'm in the basement and I feel like I'm by myself. But anyway, as long as you guys are happy, that's all that matters. So what's going on? How's everyone doing? We are getting close to the summer. I'm super excited about that. I'm off of work for the summer for 2 months, and I have big plans to, first of all, like organize, because oh my goodness, our house is so cluttered. And I think with 5 of us living at home and, you know, just being home all the time, I don't know how, but we've accumulated more stuff. And so I need to declutter, and like we're hoping to do some home renovations, which we were actually hoping to do starting last year. And then of course, lockdown happened times 3. So we're hoping to do some home renos. So I'm super excited about that, but I'm just excited to slow down and relax. And of course, do some crafting and what else? There was something else I was thinking that I'm really excited about. Clearly, I'm not excited enough because I've forgotten it. Hello, Natalie. Hello, Debbie. You want to see how I keep my punches? Okay, it's right here, Tanya. This is where I store my punches. So I have these IKEA shelves. They're like these pull-out shelves, and I can't remember what the name is called, but I can certainly look them up. They fit in the Calyx unit or the Expedite unit. I know that was what they used to be called, like this square cubic shelf behind me. And so they fit really neatly into that. I think they're meant to be paper trays, but I use them for my punches and they're amazing. And on each shelf, I have about 4 to 6 punches. So it holds quite a bit of weight. Hello, May. Nice to see your name pop up. So yeah, that's how I store my punches, and I think I have some on there that are retired that I need to get rid of, and that'll clear some space for some of my new ones. And although I seem to be accumulating new stuff faster than I'm getting rid of the old stuff, so that's a bit problematic. But anyway, what else did I want to tell you guys? I guess I could probably flip the camera down and show you some exciting stuff. I have a card club, which is closing, so registration for my card club. So let me talk a little bit about my card club. I offer a monthly card club. registration opens on the 1st of the month and it closes on the 20th of the month. And then I go ahead and order all of the things for all the people that have registered for it. And we usually feature one stamp set or one bundle. And then I design 4 projects using that particular stamp set. And then in your club kits, you'll make 6 to 8 projects. So either it'll be 6 different ones or 4 cards, 2 of the same. It kind of just depends on what I'm working with, and that's kind of how I decide what I'm going to be offering. You also get about $20 in product each month with your club kit, okay? So the cost of that, it's only available in Canada, although you can purchase the tutorial if you're outside of Canada, but I can only ship product to people in Canada. So the cost of it, if you want to subscribe to the club month to month, is $38, and that includes your $20 in product, and it includes 6 to 8 make and takes. It includes tutorials, so it's really well worth the money. And if you want to just try it for 1 month, then it's $40 and there's no obligation, okay? So Janice is saying Card Club is awesome. I love it. Thank you, Janice. Janice has been an inaugural club member, so I'm super excited that Janice is sharing that. And it's growing, and so that's super exciting. So anyway, I will show you some of the sneak peeks from this month's Card Club. And I say club, but it's also a class, so anybody can join it. And we are featuring the Party Puffins, and they're super cute. The cards are really cute. So I'm going to show you some sneak peeks, and then I'm going to show you what we're making, and then we're going to get started with the crafting. So please keep chatting. Tell us where you're watching from. Hello, Michelle, my friend. Tell us where you're watching from, and let's just keep the conversation going. So look away for a second while I flip this down. All right. I know one thing I'm going to work on this summer is finding a software that allows me to just flip my camera down and make it a smooth transition. That's going to be my goal for sure. So by September, I'll just be pressing a button, and then you guys will get to see, you know, my desk surface really, really smoothly. Okay. Hello, Margaret Ann from Alberta. How is the weather in Alberta? I would love to hear. I know you guys had some snow a while back, but tell us how the weather is there right now. The weather is actually really, really nice here in Markham, Ontario, and we've had sunshine all day, and it's been not too hot, but definitely nice enough that we could sit outside and enjoy the deck. All right, are you guys ready to get crafting? Let's talk a little bit about Card Club first. So I mentioned to you that we are featuring the Party Puffins, and Janice is watching from Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. Okay, so let me show you some of the sneak peeks of our Card Club cards, okay? So I'm saying sneak peek because I'm going to show you a couple of them. These are 2 that I had designed for a recent demonstrator training event, but I'm not actually, these are not Card Club cards. They will be a little different, but just so you get a sense of what's included, this month's Card Club will feature 4 different designs, 2 of each. So you'll actually be making 8 cards, plus getting $20 in product. So I'm not going to tell you what that is. That'll be a surprise. All of your die cutting and your embossing, all your cutting, scoring, all of those things will be done for you. So essentially you're just stamping, assembling, and embellishing, okay? So these are the cards, and you'll be doing 2 of each, and you'll get some product included. And the deadline to register for that is June 20th. And then I'll be looking to ship everything out about a week later, assuming my order comes on time. And you can just craft at your own pace. There will be tutorials. For those that register for the that subscribe every month, you will be eligible for some prizes and giveaways, and it's just lots and lots of fun and a really great way to be able to craft safely and not have to worry about designing or investing a whole lot of time into like doing the cutting and stuff. So it's intended to just help you be successful with your crafting. Hello, Deborah. Happy Wednesday. Okay, so Margaret Ann is telling us it's been very windy and having thunderstorms for about 3 days. Oh, I hope it clears up soon. We're due for some rain this week, actually, but today's been nice. Okay, so the Sweet Symmetry Suite, I want to talk a little bit about that. And as I mentioned, you can find it on pages 112 and 113 of our annual catalog. This suite includes so if you wanted to order the whole suite, it includes the Symmetry Bundle. So that is this stamp set here. This is a 17 stamp photopolymer stamp set. And then it also has this really cute coordinating punch. So it's these little sprigs, but they also are like a border punch as well. So you can punch a cute little border that has these sprigs in it. And so I love when they come out with punch bundles, because I find it's always at a really good price point. So this bundle is only $40.50 for both the stamp set and the coordinating punch. Now, if you want the other coordinating products, it also includes a pack of 12 by 12 designer series paper called Sweet Symmetry. And I will show you the patterns in this paper. So on here are just little 2x2 samples of the designer series paper. I've listed the different colors that coordinate with it, but you can see the front and back of each pattern, okay? So it's just, it really is appropriately named. It's called Sweet Symmetry, and everything on it is symmetrical. So the flowers in the stamp set are symmetrical. The designer series paper patterns are symmetrical. So for those of you that really like symmetry and are into kind of, you know, having everything aligned and even, this is definitely your jam, okay? I also really love the colors. It has a little bit of a Scandinavian feel to it, really bright, bold, fun colors. And then of course we have this pattern here, which I think would work well for masculine cards as well. So it's a fun and different kind of floral pattern, but this is just what you get in the paper pack, and it's 12 by 12 paper, okay? So really good also for scrapbooking and memory keeping. If you wanted to do 3D projects, it's really good for that. And then the last thing that's included in this suite is the Flirty Flamingo gold metallic ribbon. Okay, so if you like all of these products, you can order them all together using one code, and you can order them from my online store. Okay, so the link is here, and if you use this host code and your order is over $50, you're going to get a free gift from me. Okay, are you guys ready to get crafting? Let me talk to you about, let me show you actually a couple of cards that I've done using this suite. Okay, so here's one here. This is not the one we're making today. Now this is one where the designer series paper does pretty much all of the work. So I've just used 2 different patterns of designer series paper, and then I stamped the greeting that says best day ever. So this is really good for birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, graduations. Like this would cover you for so many different occasions. And then the flowers, I just stamped and fussy cut those with scissors. And then these little sprigs here are done using the coordinating punch. Okay, so that's one card. And then this one here I really love. I used the stitched greenery dies and stitched greenery die and created this really cool die cut background. And then I stamped on a scalloped label and then just stamped the greeting that says hey friend and embellished with a little bit of ribbon. So really simple cards. You don't actually need to do too much or add too much to these cards. They're really beautiful. And just I just love this suite. I love the font. I love all the things. So let me show you what we are going to be making today. So I'm going to show you this card here, and I'm doing this on a little bit of an angle. I actually don't tend to do a lot of angled cut cards, but I have been seeing them so much, and I just thought, let me give it a try. So I'm going to show you, if you're not comfortable using this angled designer series paper, I'm just going to show you how I did it. And then this is the inside of the card. So it says you are perfectly unique. And then the inside of the card, I just put a white layer. The other thing I'm going to show you is how you can make your own envelope out of designer series paper. Okay, so this is using the Sweet Symmetry designer series paper. So I'm going to show you how you can make your own envelope. This is something that was that Sarah Douglas, our CEO, had shown actually yesterday on a Facebook Live, and I just thought it was genius and thought, I'm going to do that on my Facebook Live today. So those are our projects. Now let's talk about the 2 tools that I feel are essential for me to be successful with my crafting. Thank you, Carol. Hello, my friend. Okay, so two things that I find I absolutely use all the time for creating my cards is my Stampin Trimmer. So what I love about our trimmer is that it's got both a scoring blade and a cutting blade. And many trimmers do have a cutting blade, but not all of them have scoring blades. And this is going to come in particularly handy when I'm doing the envelope, so I'll show you that. The other tool that I use a lot of, which you guys probably see me using all the time, is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, I've heard from a lot of people, especially newer stampers that want to kind of get into stamping, they'll say, you know, I made my first card, or I made a card, but for some reason it looks like it's missing something, or it doesn't look the way that yours looked, and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I find is a bit of a difference maker is that I tend to use die cutting or texture embossing on my cards. And this was actually the reason that I decided to buy the starter kit when I first did so, because I wanted to be able to get my cut and emboss machine. So these are the two tools that I literally cannot craft without. If you ask me to make a card without die cutting or texture embossing, it's a real challenge for me, but I can do it. It can be done. But the other thing that I want to show you is if you don't want to invest in the large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you can definitely do the mini, okay? So this will still give you an opportunity to do some embossing and die cutting, but it's a smaller price tag and obviously takes up less room, okay? The other thing that's really cool about both of our cut and emboss machines is that they fold up. So for those of you that are, you know, going to escape to the cottage or have little getaways or go on a little trip, the little mini or even the larger one, they both fold up. And so they're super portable. You could actually fit that in a weekender bag or in a suitcase, or, I mean, you'd want to take other crafting supplies with you. Michelle is saying she's so glad she got the large one. Yes, I'm glad you did too. So it's definitely helpful to have the larger. Okay. So let's get started with our card. And I know last time you guys liked when I put the measurements, so I'm just going to do that again. So my card base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Okay, so this is my top folding card base. I better close that Sharpie because we all know what's going to happen if I leave that open. So this is my card base here. Okay, then I have a layer. This is for the inside, which measures 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so that's my inside layer. That's going to, because it's a dark card base, I want something on the inside that I can actually write on. Okay, so now let's talk about this piece of Designer Series paper. It measures 3 1/2 by 4 inches. Okay, so DSP is 3 1/2 by 4 inches. Okay, so that's kind of the basic measurements for you. And let's get started with assembling this. So I'm going to actually pull out my trimmer again, because that is something that I need in order to be able to cut my Designer Series paper. So to do this angled cut, I know that I want this part here to be about 2 inches. So let's see if I can get this right. So I'm going to cut that. Am I doing this right? I want this corner here, and then that one's going to go here. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I'm taking the top corner and just lining it up with my track here. Okay, and then I'm taking this bottom left corner and I'm lining it up with the 2-inch score line. Okay, and I'm just going to cut that across. And what that's going to do is give me this really cool angle here that I can then put on my card. Okay, it's just a really cool kind of look. This one's a little bit bigger than the first one I did, and in fact what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim off 1/4 inch here. Okay, so you can make it to whatever size you want it to be. And then the next thing that I've done here, oh, Margaret, you won a mini. The old ones did not fold up, Natalie. No, you're right. That was actually like a really, it was a really great selling feature for me, because I feel like my desk surface is quite small. And so I feel like I get crowded really quickly. And so for me to be able to fold it up and move it out of the way is really, really helpful. Okay. So now when you are taking, if you want to add a little layer here, so just something to add a bit of color, you're going to want this strip to be longer than the width of your angled card. Okay, so even though this measures here 4 inches, this needs to be longer because, you know, the whole Pythagorean theorem, don't ask me to do some math here, but you just know that the triangle is going to be longer. I mean, the angled side of the triangle is longer. You know what? I don't want to talk about math right now. I want to talk about crafting. So just trust me on this one. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I'm just going to take my piece of designer series paper and I'm just lining that up so that there's like an equal border here. Okay, and then you just take your paper snips and just snip off the ends here. I'm going to do this from this side. Okay, and then we've got this really nicely aligned piece here. Okay, so before we start assembling that, and you can actually use this on the inside of your card if you want. You could actually, like, you know, stick that down and just trim the sides if you wanted. The next thing I'm going to do is use my layering circles dies. So this is another set of dies that I use very, very frequently, and especially because Stampin' Up! Retired our circle punches, rest in peace. I tend to use my layering circles dies quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine, and then I'm going to die cut these. Here we go. So I'm just going to bring this in, and because I like to be efficient, also known as lazy, I'm going to see if I can do these all in one pass. I am lazy. You know what? Like, I don't know. To me, I just think the less time I spend die cutting, the more cards I can make, right? If I sit here and I'm like die cutting everything individually, then that leaves less time for making cards, like for actually assembling cards, right? Do we agree on that one? All right. So we have our Just Jade layer, and I always will use not that you have to match everything, but I often use the colors in the designer series paper to decide what colors I'm going to use for my card. You definitely agree, right, Natalie? I know, we're so similar. You're my people. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my stamps. And I'm actually going to keep this little scrap here, and I'll show you why in a second. I'm going to use the greeting that says, "You are perfectly unique." And then I'm going to use this little flower here. I'm going to use the stem, and I'm going to use these leaves. Now, I would like to start by stamping my greeting first, because I want to make sure that when I stamp my flower, I'm not sort of covering or muting the ink color of the greeting, okay? So here are the colors that I'm using for my card. I'm using Flirty, Flamingo, Night of Navy, and Just Jade, and I think the ink pads look so pretty like that. So I'm gonna just take my Night of Navy ink, and I'm gonna ink that up, and I'm just stamping it kind of to the right side of my basic white circle, okay? So that's going to help me orient the flower. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little flower, and I'm gonna stamp this up here, okay? So that's gonna go over here, and then I'm gonna stamp it again onto this corner right here, okay, because I'm going to actually cut that out. So now we can close up the Flirty Flamingo. Yes, not lazy, I'm efficient and multitasking. I love it. You guys always make me feel so much better. You know what? The reality is, if you can find ways to make your life easier, why not do it, right? That's something I would absolutely encourage everybody to do. This is why I like sharing simple card ideas with all of you, because I feel like for me, I would rather do simpler cards and more of them so that I can send them out to people versus doing really complex cards and only being able to do a few of them. Okay, hold on. I'm not stamping that off evenly. The reason I'm stamping off here is because I don't, again, I don't want the intensity of the ink to cover up the greeting there, but I knew that it was actually going to touch the greeting, so that's why I stamped off. So I'm just going to do that again. and remove some of the ink. And then I'm just stamping that, okay? So that is what is getting stamped on this circle. And then I'm going to actually cut this out here. So let's talk a little bit about fussy cutting. And for those of you that haven't really watched me before and who kind of shudder at the thought of fussy cutting, let me explain to you some tips that will help. First of all, these flowers are super easy to fussy cut because they are fairly round. There's not a lot of intricate or, you don't have to do a lot of detailed cutting. But when you're fussy cutting, you want to leave a little bit of a border, like less than 1/8 of an inch around the edge of whatever it is you're cutting. So you can see that I'm leaving a little bit of the white border around it. And that makes it a little bit more forgiving, okay? So that gives you a little bit more room for error so that if it's not perfect, it's harder to detect. Whereas if you are cutting right along the outline, then if you do kind of make a little boo-boo, it's going to show. The other thing is when you are fussy cutting, first of all, you want nice sharp scissors. I think our paper snips are amazing for this. And the other thing is you want to move your cardstock and not your scissors, okay? So you are moving them a little bit, obviously open and closed, but you're actually controlling the direction with your other hand, okay? So I hope that made sense. So now, before I lose things, I'm going to stick this down onto the slightly larger layering circle, okay? So these dies are amazing. I love putting layers behind the white circles, and you can do one that's just peeking out from the side, or you can actually go with a larger scallop that would create, a larger border around that, okay? So that is that. And then what I'm gonna do here is grab my dimensionals, and then I'm just going to pop this up, covering part of this flower. So what I'm doing now is I'm matching this leaf here, or this petal, with this middle one here. Okay, so it's going to be on a little bit of an angle. And because everything's symmetrical, that's really easy to do. Okay, so that's it for the flower. Are you guys liking this so far? Give me a thumbs up or a heart if you're liking the way this is looking. Hello, Laurel. Hello, Elizabeth. Yes, the color combo is, this designer series paper is just fabulous. Just fab. All right, where did you go, bone folder? So now we're just burnishing our card and we're going to start to assemble this. So I've taken, for those of you that are just joining, I showed at the beginning how to cut your designer series paper on an angle. This is going to look different every time for people because it just depends on what angle and what size your designer series paper is that you're using. So I used a piece that measured 3.5 by 4 inches, and then I ended up cutting 1/4 of an inch off the bottom. So it's actually 3 1/4 by 4. And then I'm just going to stick this down like so. All right. And then we're going to put down some dimensionals here. So I'm gonna go for it with these. I'm gonna go with 5. I really, when I open a new sheet of dimensionals, I really want to use them up. I don't know why. I just feel this urge. They just feel so, they're seeing so many on the sheet just makes me want to use lots of them. Okay, so you guys must wonder about me sometimes. I say the weirdest things. I know. I'm kind of weird. Okay, so look at our card. It's like almost done. So you see, like I could whip up 10 of these in a really short amount of time. Let's talk a little bit about bow tying. So here's how I tie my bows. I take, I keep it on the roll, and I will go about 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the end, and I create a loop. Okay, then I hold that loop with between my left index and thumb because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to use my right hand then, and then go move, I guess, like another couple of inches, wrap it around my left index finger. So I've now created this little hole here, and as I push this through, I'm going to move my index finger, and then I'm going to pull it like that. Now, when you look at this bow, it's a little bit, to me, lopsided, right? The loops are longer than the tails, so I don't like that. So I'm going to actually hold on to the knot, and I'm going to pull. I think this might be kind of this is the difference maker, I think, when it comes to making bows. So you got to hold that knot and then just keep playing around with it until you get it to the size that you want it, okay? And then once you're done that and you're happy with it, you fluff them up a little bit and then you cut them on an angle. Okay, so always cut the ends of your bows on an angle, or if you like that sort of banner end, you can do that. And then you can look at it to see if it looks fairly even. And for me, this tail is a little bit longer. So that's it. That's how easy it is to tie a bow. And I really think that adding ribbon, twine, it just elevates the card to the next layer. So for those of you that are afraid of using ribbon and twine, just give it a whirl because it just gets easier, okay? All right, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm still gonna trim these some more. All right, there we go. All right. So that is the card. Now I'm going to give you guys a choice of embellishments. On my card here, I used the blue adhesive gems. I've lost the actual card backing for it. So we've got our blue adhesive back gems. We have champagne rhinestones, or we have metallic pearls. So I'm going to just tidy up for a second, and I'm going to give you guys a chance to let me know. Hi, Anne. Thank you for joining. Oh, thanks for all the hearts, my friends. You guys get to choose which embellishments we're using on this card. So on my sample, I used the blue gems, but I've got lots of options here. So what do you want to see? Tell me. You tie bows like that too. Yeah, it helps you to save on ribbon. Yeah, frugal stamper. And quite frankly, I just find it easier. I've been burned before where I've cut too short of a strand and then I end up losing the whole thing. Champagne, 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 metallic pearls, metallic pearls. We're leaning slightly more towards the champagne. So I'm going to give it another second, and what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to take this little strip here and I'm just going to add it to the inside of my card. And then because my friend Anne is here, we're not allowed to leave our envelopes naked. So I'm actually going to grab some designer series paper and an envelope, and we're going to dress it up. Okay. All right, so you can do, you could put a longer strip. We talked about this last time on the Facebook Live that sometimes I don't like writing large amounts in my cards. So putting a strip of designer series paper there means that there's less to write, Okay. I think it looks like champagne rhinestones are going to win out. So the good thing is they look kind of similar. They're similar in size to the metallic pearls. Okay, here we go. So when you are lining up your layers on the inside, you want to kind of line up with 3 edges and then stick it down. Okay, let me grab some designer series paper. And what pattern shall I use? I'm going to go with, I think I'm just going to go with this navy one. So here's where your trimmer comes in handy again. And I think I'm going to go with 3 inches. I don't think it's 3 inches that I need. I think it's 2.5, but I'm going to go with 3 and 6. So we're going to cut this to 3 by 6. And I'm not going to let my trimmer go too far because we're going to use that to create. Oh, I was going to create an envelope. That's why, but I'm still going to show you guys. If you didn't want to create an envelope, here's what you do. So you take the flap of your envelope. I did tell you guys at the beginning that I was going to actually create an envelope with DSP. All right, but here's what you do if you want to take one of our medium envelopes and make it coordinate with your card. So I'm just using my liquid glue. You can also use your tape runner, whatever you like. And then you just stick that down. Okay. You want to just use a light hand when you're putting your liquid glue because you don't want it kind of seeping out the edges, because then when you go to cut it, it's going to get all over the blades of your scissors, and we don't want that. All right, so I'm just going to cut around. All right. And then you're going to have this beautiful coordinated envelope for your card. Okay, so don't leave your envelopes naked. Ann Turner says it's not allowed. So there you go. Oh, we forgot to embellish. Okay, so we're going to go with the champagne rhinestones. Yeah, the champagne do go with everything. You know what? You can't go wrong. So this is just also a kind of a public service announcement that with many of our gems, you can use them with many of our, you know, designer series papers and cards and all the things. So I'm just going to use my take your pick tool and splatter a few of these on. I'm going to just pull a little bit of that putty stuff off. How many do I want? Yeah, I'm going to go with a big one here. I think I might like the champagne better than the blue. Maybe I'm going to go with 5 because, you know, you can never have too much bling. There we go. And then we'll go with one little one here. I don't know. Something like that. I could probably have spread those out a little bit better. But what do you guys think? A glass of champagne goes with everything. Indeed it does. All right. So tell me what you guys think of this. I hope you guys like it. And I'm going to show you how you can use your designer series paper to make an envelope, okay? So I know we decorated this one. Here's another envelope option you're going to see. And this is why I love having my Stampin Trimmer, because it allows me to, I just saw a sad face go by. I hope that I hope everybody's okay. Okay, so with your designer series paper, you can actually make 2 envelopes with 1 sheet of designer series paper. So I'm going to cut down my DSP, and I'm going to use the Just Jade side, okay, because I want the green side showing. So now I've cut that with my Stampin' Trimmer, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually score it. So you want to make sure when you're scoring that you remove, like you move the darker blade out of the way. So along the sides, we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. Now, you want to be careful and not kind of apply too much pressure, because the designer series paper is, you know, obviously more delicate than our cardstocks. You don't want to tear the paper. So I'm going over it a couple of times with a light hand. So now I've scored it at 3/4 of an inch from either side. And I know that that's super hard to see on this patterned paper, but just trust me on this, okay? And then I'm going to go and score this at 2 inches. Okay, so this is going to create the flap for my envelope. And then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. I will include these measurements because I know that this is a lot of numbers that you need to try and remember, okay? So I've now scored this 3/4 of an inch on either side, 2 inches on the top, flipped it around and scored it at 4 1/4, okay? So let's first burnish on our score lines. Natalie, your daughter got the Sweet Symmetry kit or Sweet in her starter kit. Okay, I hope that she has already used it, and if not, I can't wait to see what she and you make with it. It's such a gorgeous sweet. It's so, so beautiful. Okay, so I'm just scoring on my lines here. Sorry, not scoring, I'm burnishing. Okay, so this is where you kind of can see the beginnings of the envelope, but you have to do a little bit of cutting here, and I'm going to show you where. So you want to keep these flaps here, you want to remove these, and you want to remove these, okay? So let's do that right now. And I don't know if you can see the score lines, but I can see the score lines here. So I'm just cutting with my snips along this score line, and then I'm just going to cut this on a little bit of an angle, okay? So they call that mitering the ends. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm just cutting along this line. You could also use your trimmer if you're not comfortable using scissors, or use, you know, if your hands shake a little bit, or if you experience pain in your hands, then doing it with a trimmer is probably a bit easier. Okay, so we've now removed these tabs here, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm actually going to cut on a little bit of an angle here, and then I'm going to actually cut this on a little bit of an angle. And again, if you're, you know, you don't love if things aren't perfectly straight, then you'll want to use a trimmer for this. And then I'll also cut on an angle here. And then I'm just going in, so my score line ends here. I'm just going kind of like 1/8 of an inch to the right and cutting that on an angle. Okay, so can you see how this is going to come together? Isn't that so cute? Okay, what did I do here? All right, so we're just going to use our adhesive, and I'm going to go along this flap here. You'll want to use either liquid glue or probably Seal Plus, something that's a little bit stickier to hold your envelope together. And I'm just going right along the edge here. Okay, and then I'm going to just tuck in these flaps, and I'm going to stick that down like so. Okay, isn't that so cute? Like, this would fit, and so this is a perfect size for a standard card. Now, one thing that I love, you know, when like those inter-office envelopes, you know, they have the little red tabs. So hello, Amy, thank you for joining us. This little look here, I wanted to do for the envelope. So if you're mailing them, you probably don't want to add these on, because it's going to add some thickness and also increase the risk that these could get ripped off. But if you are delivering it, then you can totally do something fun like this. Okay, so let me show you how I did that. I once again used my layering circles, and this is the smallest layering circle. So I just used that. And then what I'm going to do here is add some liquid glue, and I'm just going to go around the perimeter. Like, I don't want to go in the center, because I'm actually going to punch out the center. So you want to leave the middle unglued. You don't want to put glue on that. And you're just going to put that in the center there. That's just kind of like a little reinforcer. Okay. This is so cute, isn't it? And I pulled out, we have these new square and round brads, and I pulled them out today for the first time. And so you'll get to see those in action. I'm showing you all the new things today. So many new things. Okay, I'm bringing in a retired product. They don't sell this anymore, but I have the 1/8 inch little hole punch, and I am going to just use that to create a little hole in the center here. I have to tell you a funny story about my sample. Okay, so I'm just punching a tiny little hole here. The brads are going to go through this. Oh, you know what? I wasn't supposed to do this right now. I was supposed to do this on here. Yeah, okay. You can tell I haven't done this too many times. I'm still a bit of an amateur. Okay, so we've got our hole in here, and I'm going to grab the brads. I'll have to match up the other one. So in the brads, you get 200, okay? And there are square and round ones. On my original sample, I used the square, but I'm going to use the round ones on here. So what I'm going to do is just match up the tiny little hole of my reinforcer, and then I'm going to just open up the brad on the inside. Okay, so just opening that up like that. Okay, so the little claws come out. You want to make sure that you're kind of folding them out very close to the center of the brad so that it doesn't move around too much. Mine's a little off center, but that's okay. And then I'm going to take, where do I want the hole on this one? Probably about here. So I'm going to take my hole punch. I might not be doing this in the most graceful way, but At the end, we are going to have a cute little handmade envelope, okay? Trust me. So where's the hole? Here we go. And I'm going to take this little brad. I'll show you at the end what it looks like with the square brads and the round. The round ones are quite a bit smaller. So I'm just on the inside, hold on. Oh, I bent them both the wrong way. Okay, here we go. So I think that's better. Yay, it worked. So funny story, when I did my sample, I actually glued this scallop circle right onto the envelope. But then when you want to go add your thread, that makes it a little hard when it's glued down. So I had to take the sort of spatula end of my take your pick tool to open it up. So luckily it worked out. Yes, this does, Carol, interestingly, when I was on Pinterest looking at samples for this, the Bloom by Bloom did actually come up. So others probably have referenced that in their blog posts or something. Okay, so I'm just taking linen thread and I'm just wrapping it around a couple of times. And then I'm gonna go around this way and around that way and just snip off the ends, okay? So now we've got this cute little envelope. I will open it up for a second just so that you can see. Here's with the round brads, here's with the square brads, but I'm gonna open it up just so that you can see how nicely the card fits. Okay, so we've got this really cute coordinated card, and you're just gonna want to make sure that your bow goes in, and just as you're putting it right into the envelope, just fix the bow so that it doesn't get all wonky. And then you've got yourself a cute little coordinating envelope with your card. Isn't that so cute? Oh my goodness. Sarah Douglas showed this in her video yesterday and I thought it was absolutely adorable. So let me take these out. Oh, I'm seeing all the hearts. I don't know, sometimes if people do it by accident, but I see angry faces, like, I hope that you're not angry about this card. I hope that you like it and that that was just an accident. Okay, so that is my project for today. So just in summary, I will tell you that if you are wanting to try and do some paper crafting with just a couple of tools, obviously you need your stamps, ink, and paper, but I definitely recommend the paper trimmer because it's going to help you kind of take your crafting to the next level and do nice, neat score lines and make your own envelopes. And then I really think that the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is definitely my most used tool, and it definitely helps to take your cards to the next level. So if there's anything that you see here that you'd like to purchase, you can absolutely do that from my online store. It's bit.ly/online store Zara. And if you use this host code here, which I will include in the description, you're also going to get a free gift from me, as well as a handmade card and 2 bundles of project tutorials. So about 23 tutorials in total. So I'm just gonna look at the comments, and you know, because I get all crooked now, I need to tape my grid paper down. I'm just going to look at the comments to see if I missed anything. Yes, actually, Pam, that's a really, hello Pam. Yes, you can absolutely put that in a clear envelope, which I have here. I wonder if it would fit. That would be an interesting thing to check. It looks like it could, or even like a clear cellophane bag and just tape it down, but that's a great suggestion. So if you wanted to keep these little reinforcers on and not have them get damaged in the mail, you just put them in something else that can get mailed safely. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Carol. Oh, I appreciate you guys so much. I'm glad that you guys liked the envelope. Like I said, it's not my, it was not my idea. I did get inspiration from Sarah Douglas, who showed this on her Facebook page yesterday, and I just thought that that would be a really fun thing to show all of you. So, like I said, you can do 2 envelopes with 1 sheet of designer series paper. I will share the measurements of that, and I'll see if I can create a template to show you and post it on our Facebook page. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Just going to make sure I didn't miss any other comments. Thank you so much, Bobby. I'm glad that you guys like it. I'm going to show this envelope again because I'm super proud of it. And thanks for your help in deciding about the embellishments, everyone. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and do comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I upload these videos to YouTube every week. And I want to thank you guys so much for spending the time with me and for watching. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope you all have a great evening, and I will see you soon. Alana, you can watch the replay. It's all good, my friend. Have a good night, everyone. Lots of love to you all. Bye.